And so the outlander returns, as we discussed in the swamp. I expected you to return with Vaya, or present me with a time and place for us to meet. Tell me, outlander, which is it to be? Complication? What kind of complication? I ordered my soldiers to stand down and let you do things your way. But instead of results, you bring me excuses. No, that's not possible. My son was banished, ordered to leave Vvardenfell and never return. Why would he disobey me and go to those savages? Vaya was with you? And you left her out there? By the three, everything is unraveling no matter how hard I try to maintain control. I need you to do something else for me, if you would, outlander. Tell my daughter I'm sorry. Tell her she needs to stay away until I can calm things down. I don't want to see anything happen to her. Promise me. And take this. Consider it payment for your efforts thus far. If you'll excuse me, I need some time to consider everything you've told me. Once I determine the best way to proceed, I'll contact you. In the meantime, make sure Vaya stays away from Balmora and House Redoran. It was never meant to be an attack. I sent Captain Briven to clear land that already belonged to House Redoran. The Ashlanders were given an opportunity to depart. The situation didn't have to turn violent. Those damn savages should have just left. House Redoran has been slowly expanding in that direction for years. We claimed that area almost a year ago, but we were forced to temporarily abandon it when a massive ash storm hit. Before we could return, the Ashlanders moved in. Redoran depends on that land for hunting and resources. The Ashlanders are like a plague of insects. They sweep into an area, take everything, and move on. We couldn't allow them to do that here. So I sent Captain Briven to convince them otherwise. The captain serves House Redoran with honor and dedication. He's out doing his job. If Briven had anything to do with my son's death, he would have reported it to me. He'd have no reason to keep such news from me and the other counselors. I'll speak to Briven when he returns. But understand, the captain operated under my orders. He's an exemplary soldier and an upstanding member of the House. Like me, everything he does is for the betterment of House Redoran.
Seems as if the Pact leaders are preparing to take on the Skald King's traitorous brother.
Outlander! Naryu told me what you found in the Ashlander mine. I can't imagine what Vaya must be going through right now, but she shouldn't be alone. That's why I came looking for you. Naryu has responsibilities to tend to. Morag Tong responsibilities. Understand? She left me to keep Vaya company, but I'm not very good at spouting words of comfort and solace. Unless I can kill something, I'm very good at that. You do understand. And Naryu implied you're as dense as the ash storms coming off Red Mountain. Good to know even the Mother of Blades can be wrong. Veya's upset, and not just about her brother. She wanted to go with Naryu. One other thing. Naryu's job concerns House Redoran. That's why she didn't want Veya to accompany her on this one. Veya's grief-stricken, angry, and ready to lash out at anyone and anything, so keep your head low and try not to upset her. I have experience getting on a lot of people's bad sides. Women, especially, find me exasperating. Irresistible, but exasperating. It's a gift. Something about who Naryu's target is. Thinks the target may know something about what happened to her brother. Look, I'm not even sure how Veya found out who Naryu's target is, and I don't want to know. Just go and talk to her, please. Carefully, and with your hands empty and clearly visible. She's in the safe house beneath Balmora, or at least that's where I left her. But I didn't lock the door, so I suppose she could be anywhere by now. I suggest you hurry and get down there.
Get out of here, Ashur. I don't need a nursemaid no matter what Naryu might think.
Oh, it's you. Sorry about that.
Did Ashur send you to check up on me? I swear, the next person that treats me like a child is going to find my dagger in their stomach. Gods, I'm not mad at you. I'm just annoyed at everybody right now.
No, I don't think so. It's just been difficult. Finding poor Ulran in the Ashlander camp. I need to be doing something. Sitting down here in the dark, hiding, that's not going to solve anything. I know, but Naryu's writ. It involves a Redoran councillor. Exactly the opportunity I've been waiting for. The councillor knows who set up my brother. We need to talk to her before Naryu executes the writ. Do this... Well, Naryu wouldn't tell me any specifics, but she trained me well. It wasn't hard to sneak a glance at the writ before she took off. Her target's at Arenin Manor, out in the swamp. Not far from that smelly cave, actually. I appreciate you agreeing to see what you can learn at Arenin Manor. My father used to say it was used by councillors as a retreat, but Mother always told me it was where they conducted business that required a certain degree of privacy. That's all I've been doing, thinking. And I think Ulran was right. I think someone wanted him out of the way, and they orchestrated the event with the Ashlanders to do it. Someone played my brother for a fool, and it cost him his life. Brivon's as stubborn as my father when it comes to following the rules and regulations of House Redoran. Ulran and Brivon were best friends, even if they argued from time to time. Politics, foreign relations, the Ashlanders, you name an issue, and Ulran and Brivon were probably on opposite sides of the argument. It got to the point where I had to ignore both of them or they'd drive me insane. You did? How did he take it? I mean, he didn't know that my brother was dead. Really? I suppose that makes sense. I think he loves us, in his own way. But what else did he say? Did he know that Ulran had been banished? He didn't expect... My father doesn't know his children as well as he thinks. Either of them. That's why I had to get away. Join the Morag Tongue. At least Naryu understands me. Mostly. I can't agree to that. I need to figure out what happened to my brother, who was involved, and then I'm going to make them pay. Just you watch.
I expected you hours ago, hero. It's not polite to keep an assassin waiting. I was wondering how long it was going to take Vare to convince you to follow me. But she thought I didn't notice when she glanced at my writ, didn't she? Where is my overly curious apprentice, by the way? I know Vare wants answers, but this is my job. There are rules, especially where the lords of the great houses are concerned. There might be a way to deal with this, though, provided you're willing to help. First, don't kill any Redarans. That's a violation of my writ and could have serious consequences for both of us. Second, you sneak around and search for anything that pertains to Ulron's exile while I figure out how to deal with the Counselor. We need to be invisible. These things work best when no one but the target knows we're there. If you get spotted, you're on your own. I even cough on anyone without a writ, and the Morrowind tongue will have my head. It's unusual, but not unheard of. True, most writs taken out against the houses target low to mid-ranking officials. The Grand Master is cautious when it comes to accepting such a high-profile writ. Apparently, though, this target has been very bad. Councillor Dovera has been conspiring with House Dres to promote the slave trade and avoid scrutiny by Redoran and Pact officials. She played a dangerous but profitable game, and her coffers were overflowing. Until someone noticed. I'm not privy to the laborious investigations that took place. In cases like these, though, the target usually becomes complacent and lets her guard down. She made a mess. Now I get to clean it up, for the good of Dunmer society. That's the question, isn't it? It nags at us the way the torchbug nags at the brave little scrib in those children's stories. Once we discover who Ulron's torchbug is, we'll have a clearer understanding of why they set him up and why he had to die. I'm not saying that. Accidents happen. But they certainly made sure Ulron was in the wrong place at the wrong time, both in Balmora and again in the Ashlander camp. In addition to whatever you can find here, we should also talk to Captain Briven. Briven's name keeps coming up. At the very least, he was Ulron's best friend once. He might be able to shed some light on Ulron and what happened to cause his exile. And I really want to know what took place after Ulron left us that message. Vare's my apprentice, and I'll decide when she's ready to take on a mission. She's been through a lot, and her actions reflect on me and my status in the Morrowind tongue. She may not appreciate it right now, but I'm trying to keep the both of us on track. That's how it works. Her actions are my actions. Vare goes out and executes 3 writs. I share the credit and get praised for training my apprentice. On the other hand, if she kills someone without a writ, the Morrowind tongue takes both our heads. There have to be. My order came this close to being eliminated. It's only recently that we've started to make a comeback, and only in Dunmer territory. If we can't control the actions of our members, we'll be hunted down and destroyed for sure.
best defense always a good attack?
I try not to be superstitious. That brings bad luck.
The front door's guarded like a bank vault. Maybe there's another way in through one of the buildings by the docks.
Bitter green was undercooked.
What a little extortion among friends.
Sharpest arrow in the quiver.
This looks promising. Might even lead to the wine cellars. I could use a good bottle of wine. See what you can find pertaining to Ulran. I've got a dagger and a writ with Councillor Dolvara's name on them.
Only the dead will see an end to this war.
If we don't find anything, maybe we can ask for an invitation to the upcoming council meeting. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer our questions.
That's not a stew pot. It's my laundry. What is that terrible smell?
So House Redoran issued an advisory against the Morrowind town. That's what you do to Councillor. Damn the luck! I was hoping for a quick stab and go, but it seems the Councillor might actually know something about Ulran. So Councillor Dolvara does know something about Vea's brother. Damn it all! Now I suppose you want to actually talk to her before I execute the walking pile of pond scum. Of course we do. I specifically waited for you to arrive because I figured that would be the case. Still doesn't mean I'm happy about blurring the line between helping Vea and performing my duty as a Morrowind Tong. We discovered that the next meeting of the High Council will take place at the consulate outside Balmra. The war clause and the Ashlander abuse aren't completely sanctioned by the House, and Dolvara was present when Ulran was exiled. Not a bad haul. That means we have to get Dolvara to spill her guts before I spill her guts. Just keep your wits about you, hero. Dolvara wields her feminine charms the way I wield my daggers. Don't let her seduce you into doing something stupid before I end her.
He hears voices in his head.
Be quick with your questions, hero. When I slip in, to my dagger.
Ah,
You must be here about those pesky patrol schedules. After all that clandestine correspondence, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. Now, come closer so we can celebrate our partnership in a proper fashion. Well, look at you. I'm impressed. The last person House Dres sent over was so much more scruffy. I have a meeting with House Halalu shortly, but I think I can spare a few more moments for you. To seal our partnership, you understand. The noble's banished son? Why does House Dres care about that? Never mind. Anything so we can get to the good stuff. Ulron was tested and found wanting. Chose the life of a savage over his own soldier. We stripped him of his rank and exiled him. Ulron's dead? I hadn't heard. As to who was behind the test of Ulron's loyalty, what does that matter? He failed and paid the price for his poor choices. What does all this have to do with our arrangement?
You aren't clever enough or pretty enough to avoid what's about to happen, Dolvra.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you people?
I'm a Morag Tong with a writ that says you're a criminal and a traitor. That means I get to end your miserable existence.
His fate was such that no
Take another look around, hero, and see if you can find anything else related to Oran. More proof that Dolvra was in bed with both. That's Captain Briven's seal. I suppose our evil counselor courted favor wherever she could find it. The good Captain Briven appears to be more involved in Ulron's fate than I had imagined. He never struck me as the type to use murder and deceit to get ahead, but that's the problem with greed. It causes decent people to make stupid choices. Or he's trying to hide something. The letter mentioned an intact squad sent to scout the old fort. You need to get out there and see what those soldiers know before Briven gives them new orders and they disappear. I suppose she's probably pulled tight as a bowstring waiting to hear something. Go talk to Vea while I present my writ to the authorities. I can't wait to see the look on the Redoran Magister's face when I tell him what his counselor was up to.
Did you meet the
Did you meet the new commander?
What do you require of us? Have need of a zombie?
That was a brave deed, rescuing Sandras.
Back again? Took your sweet time. You didn't learn anything, did you? Not that it matters. Olran's dead and nothing can change that. What good is that going to do? They won't speak to us. House before family and all that. Believe me, I'm more than familiar with Redoran honor. Still, I suppose I know a few ways to get people to talk. More rules. I thought we were beyond those kinds of limitations. Look, I need to figure out who's responsible for Olran's death. House councillors, Redoran soldiers, Ashlanders, whoever it is, they need to pay. Riven was Olran's best friend. Would he really betray my brother? Regardless, I want you to have this. You could have handed me to my father and you didn't. Other than Naryu and Asher, you might be the only friend I have left. So which soldiers are we talking about? I know most of the people my brother used to work with. Eyewitnesses are better than notes in the House Registry, provided I can actually get them to talk to me. There's no time to waste. That fort's near the cave where I was hiding. Last time I was there, the fort was crawling with cultists. We need to find them before Vatala and his soldiers wind up sacrificed to some Daedric prince. We'll get Vatala and his soldiers killed. I know the process. Turning in a writ can take hours, maybe even an entire day. I'll leave Naryu a note. She can meet us at the fort. I'm going. Either come with me or get out of my way. Let me gather my gear and write a note for Naryu. I'll meet you near the Hlormaran stronghold. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that we'll learn who's responsible for Oran's death soon. Then blood will flow. As far as I'm concerned, rules got my brother killed. They don't apply to me anymore. Besides, to find the soldiers, we're probably going to have to carve a path through those cultists. The Morag tongue won't care about that. That's what the handbook says. Look, I know what Naryu's done for me. To keep me safe, I appreciate that. But this is about what they did to my brother. Nothing else matters. Not Naryu, not you, and certainly not me. No, never. You and Naryu aren't my enemies. I just need to get justice for Olran. Otherwise his death will be the first of many. We have to be able to resist laws that make no sense or get people hurt, without being afraid of getting exiled. I know Vatala. He's a typical Redoran soldier, loyal to a fault, always spouting nonsense about house and honor above all. He was devoted to my brother, though. Olran considered him to be one of his best. Oran had a habit of putting the needs of others ahead of his own. He probably told Vatala and his soldiers to remain quiet. Decided to take responsibility and save them any heartache. I hope these soldiers remember that when we find them.